The most powerful application of AI doesn't just lie in a single model, but how we orchestrate AI into a workflow. So I thought I'd take the time today to make a little video to explain about the terminology of orchestration, which quite simply means routing, sequencing, and integration. So this flow that I have in front of me here demonstrates each of those 3 points. But before I explain them, I'm just going to quickly introduce what this workflow is doing. So this workflow is taking information from people's LinkedIn via an API called DuckSoup, and it's scraping that into a database which I've built on Airtable. So we can see here, this information is actually being taken via the API and databased inside this Airtable. What we can also see here is that it's split. So after we've taken the data from DuckSoup, we have 2 different routes, or the start of 2 different routes. And actually this is conditional logic, which is going to determine if the email exists or doesn't exist. It will simply take a different route. So we can see here, if the email exists, then it shall follow this route. If it doesn't exist, it will take the bottom route. So that, in a simple term, is routing. You can see further down this sequence that we have more conditions of which we'll route into the Airtable depending on the amount of information that's available. The other part of orchestration is integration, which simply means how do we put different tools together. So you can see in here we have Airtable. So we're integrating Airtable with information that's coming from this model here on Make, okay? But the information is coming via the API of DuckSoup. So we're integrating different APIs together in Make, okay? So Make is the orchestration layer. It's the API layer or the middleware of this scenario. So once we put that information into Airtable, actually, we're checking it with this module here to see if that information already exists. If it doesn't, we're going to actually update the record. Now, I also want to show you that we have this LinkedIn scraping agent, and we're actually integrating Airtable with ChatGPT via Make in this situation. So you can see here we have a system prompt which neatly aligns with the system prompt in the back end of Airtable. And this is effectively saying you are an agent that analyzes people's profiles, and please analyze the profiles along these rows. So professional snapshot, career and trajectory patterns, personal branding and language style. And then when we can do this, we can actually feed those prompts into this ChatGPT module here. And what's also cool about Make is that because we're accessing this ChatGPT via the business API, we actually have access to a lot more models. So some models, not just ChatGPT 5, but O3, which is a great processor of information, O1, which is a great strategist and writer, 4.1, which is also a great writer, and then 4.0, which is a multi-purpose model like ChatGPT 5. But it gives us the flexibility to be able to select the right tool for the job. So 4.1 is a great writer, so we're asking it to analyze this person's information and actually come up with a strategic angle to sell them the product of my client here. And we're going to take all this information, scrape the bio, scrape the posts, and then feed that into the model to find an angle to be able to write a personalized message. What we can also do on Make is, because we have access to the API of ChatGPT, we can select the right tool for the job. So in this one we use 4.1, and in this one we use 4.1 Nano. And this is simply because it's a smaller model and we're just feeding it the location, because we want to make sure that we have the right location, because in this circumstance, in this client's dashboard, we're actually sending different messages based upon the location. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. I hope it's been useful, but this is a great example of how an orchestration layer in a business can give flexibility to that business to be able to integrate new tools and route information based upon the information or the conditional logic of the system.